Citing the 14th Amendment, the Colorado Supreme Court rules former President Donald Trump is ineligible to run again. And Rite Aid is accused of recklessly using AI technology on its customers. The Morning Rundown starts now.
From the Straight Arrow News Studio, bringing the stories that matter to you from across the United States and around the world. This is the Morning Rundown.
Today is Wednesday, December 20th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kara Rucker. Former President Donald Trump has been disqualified from appearing on Colorado's primary ballot next year after the state Supreme Court ruled Trump is ineligible to serve as president because of his role in the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol. The 4-3 ruling is based on Colorado's High Court's interpretation of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, reversing a decision from a lower court. Trump's team has said it would immediately appeal the decision to the U.S. Supreme Court. Colorado's Supreme Court is the first in the nation to find the 14th Amendment's insurrection clause applies to the former president. Similar lawsuits in several other states have been dismissed. Colorado's High Court, consisting of all Democratic appointees, reversed a decision by a district judge last month that found while Trump incited an insurrection, Section 3 did not apply to the presidency. Trump is facing federal charges related to January 6, but has not been found guilty of any crimes as of today. One of the three dissenting judges said without a conviction, the court was depriving Trump of due process. Trump's campaign called the ruling flawed and believes it will be overturned. The Colorado Supreme Court's decision won't take effect until at least January 4th, giving time for an appeal to play out. Less than 24 hours after Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed a law that will allow Texas law enforcement to arrest migrants crossing the border illegally, civil rights groups, along with the largest border county in the state, have filed a lawsuit claiming the new law is unconstitutional. The law, which is set to go into effect in March, also gives power to judges to order deportations. It comes as record numbers of migrants have made it to the U.S.-Mexico border and a surge in illegal border crossings. The Republican governor said the law is necessary while expressing frustration with the Biden administration's immigration policies. The American Civil Liberties Union says the law is outright unconstitutional, saying in a statement, quote, Governor Abbott's efforts to circumvent the federal immigration system and deny people the right to due process is not only unconstitutional, but also dangerously prone to error and will disproportionately harm Black and brown people regardless of their immigration status. Republican state representatives who back the law say Texas and other border states have the absolute right to enforce their borders. Now the courts will decide that. The military promotion holdout is over. Working up to the holiday break, the Senate confirmed a dozen top military nominees on Tuesday, putting an end to Republican Senator Tommy Tuberville's 11-month-long blockade that started over his protest of the Pentagon's policy of reimbursing travel costs for military members seeking an abortion. As time went by and stalled promotions began to pile up, Tuberville faced bipartisan criticism that his tactic wasn't working and affected military readiness. Tuberville dropped his hold for most promotions earlier this month. The blockade officially ended last night when Tuberville agreed to drop all of his objections. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer was then able to get a vote to pass and promote the last 11 military officers. Rite Aid, the pharmacy chain that filed for bankruptcy in October, is now facing another issue. It is being banned from using artificial intelligence facial recognition technology for surveillance purposes for 5 years to settle charges by the Federal Trade Commission. In a statement Tuesday, the FTC said the retailer failed to implement, quote, reasonable procedures and prevent harm to consumers in its use of facial recognition in hundreds of its stores. The agency said Rite Aid's reckless use of AI left customers facing humiliation. In its complaint, the FTC said between 2012 and 2020, Rite Aid used AI to capture images of all its customers at select stores and created a database of persons of interest suspected of past wrongdoings like shoplifting. The system would send out match alerts to Rite Aid workers, who were then instructed to tell the customers to leave the store. The FTC said this led to numerous false positives. The FTC said Rite Aid did not inform its customers of the technology being used in its stores and instructed employees not to reveal anything to consumers or the media. In a statement, Rite Aid said it had stopped using the technology in a small group of stores more than 3 years ago. Comcast has announced nearly 36 million of its Xfinity customers' accounts were compromised by a security breach. According to the cable giant, hackers were able to gain access to its systems through a vulnerability in software provided by the cloud computing company Citrix. The unauthorized access occurred between October 16th and 19th, more than 2 weeks after Citrix disclosed its software issue. Customer data that was likely acquired includes usernames, contact details, and the last 4 digits of social security numbers. In a letter to customers, Comcast says it notified authorities as soon as it discovered the breach, adding the software issue has been resolved, though Xfinity users are being required to reset their passwords. Finally this morning, Amazon founder Jeff Bezos is once again reaching for the stars as his Blue Origin rocket took another trip out of this world. The New Shepard rocket lifted off from Blue Origin's Texas facility more than a year after engine troubles led the rocket to crash during a failed launch. This time, the rocket successfully catapulted a capsule containing 33 science experiments from NASA and other groups into space for a few minutes of weightlessness. Both the capsule and the rocket then landed safely back to Earth. Though there was no one on board the tourism rocket this time, following this successful mission, Blue Origin says it is looking forward to returning to passenger flights soon. These are your top stories for this Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe to the Morning Rundown newsletter to get the top stories each weekday morning. Just go to san.com/rundown to sign up. Unbiased, straight facts, that's Straight Arrow News. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Until then, I'm Kara Rucker. Have a great day.